started the meeting at 5 p.m. at the Seacoast Learning Collaborative building, and we called to order there. We've done building tours and have now concluded those tours and are starting the typically scheduled meeting here. So we're actually, I guess, on number three. Do we have action on the minutes of 5/6/26?
Motion to approve. Second.
Discussion? All in favor? You are not.
Abstain.
Okay, so we have James in favor, Kathleen in favor, Rick in favor, Micah in favor, 2 abstentions, and Ken is excused tonight for anyone who wanted to know that. Okay. I have I'll send around the manifests while Bob goes on to nominations, resignations, and his superintendent's report.
Absolutely. We have many nominations tonight. We've been super busy. We'll talk more about that in the superintendent's report, excuse me, with hiring. At Bakey School, a new reading specialist, Leanne Kirst. I think it's Kirst. Special ed case manager at Bakey, Brandy Boldick. She's actually just moving over to a new position. Grade 1 teacher, Emma Bragg, also at Bakey School. At Memorial, grade 4 teacher, Clara Gorman. A special ed in-step teacher, Sharon Valdez. Let's get that one, come back to that in a minute. Special ed case manager at the middle school, Kevin Holt. Special ed connections teacher, Irene Lanchester at the middle school. School counselor, Rebecca Tharp. And a health PE teacher for grades 6 through 12, but I think focusing at the middle school level, Daniel Jacobs. We also have 6 folks at the high school. Beatrice Donahue in physical science. She's actually returning to the district. In English, Sheridan DeLeo, Haley Ness in math. Kevin Bowden's returning to the district in life skills. Cheryl Migliorni, or Rini, I believe, is our nurse, a new nurse here at the high school, middle school, and a special ed counselor, Taylor Faya. So those are all professional staff in Unit 1 that are coming to the district. Please.
How exciting to see 2 returns.
Yes, that is definitely noticeable, is that we have a couple people that are coming back.
I make a motion to accept the nominations.
Second.
Discussion? And all in favor?
Welcome, Sanborn.
Yes, thank you. I'm excited about that. We have, flipping the page, 1 resignation. Erin Brennan has recently accepted a position in another district, a 4th grade teacher. We do have an opening there. We did hire a 4th grade teacher in that group, but we have an opening there, and there are several still available. Anybody knows anybody who teaches high school science in particular? That's been a struggle for us, and not just us, it's been for everybody. And let's see.
High school science?
Actually, we just filled the high school science, and I think we did. Rumor is we may have found a grade 6 science teacher today. But we can always look for science people. That's one of the hardest things to get. But we have a couple elementary teachers, and those are updated, I believe, pretty much daily on the website for the school district to those positions that are open. Do you have a question? All right. All good. Pull out notes. Okay, a couple things brewing. I've had a couple meetings with the tenants across the state, including one today, and I had more updates on this that I sent you guys earlier. I'm not even sure they're accurate because apparently everything changes every time I send it out. There are a couple bills that they're really focusing on at the state level, and if I represent any of these inaccurately, they're very complicated, some of these. And my understanding is that everything changes on Thursday. So tomorrow, the House and the Senate are both meeting. They're coming up to the end of their term. They're doing some really interesting things, like the open enrollment bill is apparently being tucked in a bill that is titled something to do with reforming pharmacies of some kind. And they're putting an education reform act that would fundamentally change New Hampshire schools in that bill. So this is the kind of stuff that I'm not going to make a judgment statement on it. I'm just going to say this is why it's complicated to track. There's a bill that would put a mandatory question about putting a tax cap that I heard maybe as low as 2% on our schools, and that would include teacher contracts. So if your teacher contract puts you over, you'd have to adjust down another way, as I understand it again. That would go on the November ballot this year and next, and then it would just 26 and 28 November ballots and potentially even more. So it would be the kind of thing you might vote on in November, and it would apply to the following year's budget. And giving the budget schedule that we deal with, you can imagine how difficult that may be if something like that were to pass. HB 1610 may limit our ability to keep contingency funds, and I believe they're talking reserve and trust funds, not the contingency, and that would be a problem, but I have to confirm that. HB 1817 would allow students who are accepting EFA money, the Education Freedom Account money, which is, I believe, around $5,000 a student, and then they could also then enroll their students in our schools. Now we lose the adequacy money for those kids, and then they would be accepting that money. They would enroll in the schools. Right now, some schools are charging those students to attend. And that would basically say you can't charge them. We would just have to allow those kids to be here. Again, no judgment, just what's going on. And House Bill 564 would limit to, I believe, something like 6% of the budget, what we spend at the SAU level, but I'm not entirely sure if the bill even defines what that means. Does that include the special ed folks? Does that include everybody who works in the building? I'm not sure exactly how it's defined, and that's the difficulty.
Can you tell me, can you repeat the contingency fund one?
I have to check on that one. And actually, it's interesting. Dr. Brown just walked in, which she might know it better than I do, but there's a bill.
Just the number of it? What was
The way I saw it was 3%. And I'm not sure if that's the yearly contingencies. And you guys voted to pull back 1.75 this year, or retain that, or whether that's 3% for our reserve and our trust funds. I'd have to read it again. It's
the number of the bill?
1610.
Thank you.
The contingency fund bill, do you remember if that's the trust and reserve funds, or is that the yearly contingency? I'm putting you on the spot for absolute certain.
Revise it within the last few days.
Yeah, and then you're working tomorrow.
There was people carrying it forward over year to the taxpayers.
Okay, that smells like the yearly contingency. We
They have
pulled
to
at
do that
1.75, not the others. That's good. That's not.
Yeah, but that
You
one,
know.
we already have to.
We have to give it back, but it sounds like
Yeah.
some people don't. and that may be
Oh, okay.
emphasizing. I'll have, once I hear back from the Superintendent's Association after tomorrow, I'll send you guys the rundown of those bills. Dr. Houghton is in the district on May 29th. He's going to do some school visits. We'll have a chance to chat at that time. We have made offers to 13 new teaching professionals. I'm not even sure how many we just approved. I think it was around that number. So that's a really good progress. I want to give a huge shout out in particular to the high school leadership and middle school leadership, where they've basically run through in about a month and hired 4 new staff members for this building. And that's, let me tell you, no small lift to do that much work in a very short period of time. And they have very few openings for this time in the hiring season. Many schools are looking for teachers, and we've been able to corral people in a lot of the right spots. So I'm really thankful to them. Not as many openings at the elementary level, but they've done a fantastic job as well in corralling people pretty quickly, which is great. Couple of senior week things are coming up next. I believe that Thursday is the 28th. Sports awards are coming up. Music and drama awards on the 3rd. 4th is baccalaureate. That's not an official school event, but it's one we talk about. And graduation, of course, comes up on June 5th. Summer's about that, I bet, here in the gymnasium at 6 o'clock. We do have seating for members of the board. We'll get some information out to you guys on that. And I'll probably be planted here at the school all week to help them run through graduation and all the falderall in that. And the last thing is, as of Monday, we had 85 kindergartners registered, which is kind of a scary number, because I did sit in this very room and say, there's no way in the world we're going to have 92 kindergartners. And NESDEC is totally wrong. And that, I'll just wipe the egg off my face on that one. So, which is great. That's a fantastic problem to have. And just to sort of stew around in your minds, it would be my suggestion that if we get in that kind of number, and we're talking 17, 18 kids in a kindergarten class, that we would add a teacher, which is not necessarily in the budget, but we certainly have the funds to be able to support that. I did check today, and my understanding is we get a half share of adequacy money, so about $2,600 per student that we enroll in our kindergarten, because kindergarten's only guaranteed half a day in New Hampshire. So you get a half share for each kid. So that the adequacy would cover some of that. Of course, there's other ancillary expenses to having a kindergarten classroom. But as far as the future of the district, having that many kids coming into the kindergarten and those parents choosing here, because there are other options for kindergarten, this is absolutely reflection on full day kindergarten as opposed to half day. Validates that decision the board made, and I'm not sure when, but it's a great thing. So we're super excited about that.
2013.
That's a great problem to have.
Son was the first full day kindergarten.
There you go.
When he
Full day K.
Here.
My town just went to it. I'm happy about
Yeah,
that.
you were first day. You were one of the first full day kindergarten.
I didn't know that. It's
Yeah.
fun.
It worked.
All right.
Yeah.
No, that was a lot, but thank you.
Dr. Dawson, quick
Yes.
follow-up question. Great success on the hiring. in a
Yeah.
short time frame. Could you comment briefly on the applicant pool? How was the applicant pool?
The applicant pool the last number of years in education has been interesting. It used to be you would advertise a job like social studies teacher, which is my subject, and you would get 30 applicants, 15 of whom are actually qualified. You get a lot of, I loved history when I was in school, those, letters. And I understand why people want to do that. But it's been very, very difficult to draw candidates over the number of years. And so if you have 5 or 6 quality people in a pool, you're feeling really good about that across the board. I would have to check with the principals and see. The one thing I do on everyone that they send up the pipeline is I take a really strong look at the references, and the references we're seeing are really, really good. Like, I would absolutely hire this person again. This is one of the best young teachers I've ever seen. Those kind of comments I'm seeing across the board. History tells us they're not all going to be what you hope them to be. But I basically, one thing that I did mention to them was to hire the best candidate you can. We've got a bunch of people retiring, and if we're hiring people in the middle, the budget will balance itself out. But it's really important to grab the best people you can. Now, that doesn't mean they've gone out and spent wildly and everybody's at the very, very top of the scale. They're kind of all over the place. So I think we're going to be roughly in balance across the board. In science and in math, it's become extremely difficult to find candidates. So the one thing that I know that they're doing here in this building is they're moving extremely fast on candidates. They're reviewing the application system every day. And sometimes people haven't even finished or submitted the application, and they're calling people to say, hey, I've seen your resume. I've seen your stuff. It's on the, why don't you come in and talk? And they've really taken some proactive measures to do that. So like I had a former teacher, actually, interestingly, another one reached out to me today who was here a number of years ago and during my time here and wanted to come back. But we had actually unfortunately filled the position. She would have been a great find to get her back in the building. So actually that's 3 that we would have had come back. So that's a good sign.
It is. And I look at, I think a lot about leading in. And I think both, a qualified applicant pool that allows you to hire quickly, people returning to the district as an individual choice.
Yep.
And a really large kindergarten class. Those are 3 different, distinct, but very positive leading indicators for the future success and growth of the district. And that's worth celebrating.
100%. I
Nice work.
agree.
A question about kindergarten. So how many we have 5 teachers or 4?
I would have to take a peek.
And
I'd
then,
have to look. I think it's 5.
okay.
Means it's probably 4.
So we're thinking 17 kids per class.
Damn.
So looking at potentially hiring another teacher.
Yeah,
Now,
the number,
We have none.
I asked Andrea about that today or yesterday. And the question is, historically, and she's going to talk to the staff that does the registration in her building and make sure, but we usually pick up a few late in the game and you lose a few late in the game. So there are people that will register, lock it in, and maybe they're looking at they could be looking at a charter, or they could be looking at a private kindergarten situation because it works better with their personal schedules and so forth. So we think it's going to relatively balance out over the summer, but they keep coming in. So that number was, we've been kind of talking about it every week for the last month and a half or so as it changes. So
okay.
I think it may settle right around that number, but I was dead wrong on the original number. So I'm not.
And then my last question is, so historically what was done was each kindergarten class had a para in it. And then that was eliminated from our school board and former administration. Having that para in the class actually allowed for having a higher class.
Yep.
So I don't know if that's something that can be looked at.
You mean larger class size?
Yes. Yep.
Because there were 2 teachers, there were two adults, and that really well as a district, at least at Memorial. And I feel like it's something that really would be supportive to the littles.
Yeah, the one thing that the only caveat to that is that a para may appear to save you a significant amount of money as opposed to putting a second teacher in the situation, but paras can be with health insurance, particularly if they're taking the health insurance because of our contract, they can run you $100,000 net cost. So that's something just to keep in mind. But as the numbers change, and I would assume that probably in July, Adam will be back to have a chat with you about where the numbers really settle. But we did talk about maybe a shared para across all the classrooms for setup purposes or to support a teacher with a particular lesson or a group of kids that they have. You know, just adding an extra teacher. There's multiple options and ways to handle that number to do it the most effective way. If it were me, I would rather have smaller class sizes with fully qualified teachers, but that's just me.
Thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions for Dr. Dawson before we move on?
I have one, but I won't ask the full question because you'll probably want to take this into non-public, but you've brought it up twice now about the challenges to hiring science teachers.
Yeah.
And so what would be, remind me in non-public. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
You did have a question.
Yep.
You look like you did.
Yep. Thank you.
Okay. Let's move on now then to any subcommittee reports. We didn't have subcommittees today because we were, oh no, I was just going to letting people know. We didn't meet today because we were touring the buildings and looking at the various projects and maintenance projects that exist throughout all the properties. But if anybody has any subcommittee reports to mention, if needed, anything? Yes.
I did attend a meeting at SST on Monday. Things are looking good there. Enrollment is increased from last year. Some of that is due to the new electrical program, but even without it, enrollment is increased, which does reflect positively on tuition costs per student. So that's a wonderful thing. They have some great teachers that they've hired to run the new electrical program and a new health services teacher that they're seem to be excited about. It's still in the works. We got to tour the new electrical program space. Looking good so far. They have great plans for it.
Great. Thank you.
Do we know if any Sanborn kids got into the electrical program?
I had that list a while ago. I was trying to think if I still have it, but I believe it's about a half a dozen kids.
Nice.
Yeah. And there's 3 sections during the day. There's one particular section that's only a 1-year opportunity for kids. They know it's only a single year because usually what happens is they have 3 during the day. Basically, there's 2 groups for the first year kids, and then they trim it back down for the second year group with only 1 section for that. So that the first year you just take one of the mix.
Nice.
I will also say for the PR committee, the SCO met last week and they sent me a recap of their meeting, pulling from the school board goals that we have on our website. They had a bunch of ideas that they wanted to share with us. And so we'll sort of funnel that into a goal conversation, but.
Nice.
Was it the SEO meeting?
Mhm.
It was a good turnout.
I wasn't there personally. I think the recap says there were 5 present last week.
Oh,
A good discussion amongst those 5.
we should mention also in relation to the PR subcommittee, while we didn't have an actual subcommittee meeting last night, there was the scholarship night here. And maybe there was somebody who did very well also in this room right now at scholarship night. But James had James leaned over to me after I had the special privilege and honor of presenting Summer with a scholarship. He said, we got to get a picture of this because they announced that there was how many students? 25? 25 students receiving scholarships, over $65,000 in scholarships. And just the list of accolades and student achievements that led to their being awarded those scholarships was just inspiring and fantastic. So James had the presence of mind before everybody split to say, can we get a picture of everybody on stage and the whole thing? So we got that picture. Tons of people took a photo with the presenters and the students, and we're hoping to share the message loud and clear.
Thanks. And yeah, sure. Pictures are great. But the thing that really struck, I loved last night. It was one of the best events I've been to, certainly since joining the board. And one of the things that I really loved and want to celebrate, not just the student achievements, but there's some really incredible kids graduating in such a wide range, athletic excellence, academic excellence, clubs, volunteering, first responders, and seeing not only the success of those students who came right up through the Sanborn district, but also the scholarship awardees, which represented a vast range of groups, districts, and even individuals from our community, showing not only their consistent support of the district and the programs that we have here, but backed by real dollars. And that is the type, as we work on our goals and as we work on reinvesting time and effort in community involvement, there's a really strong foundation. So that gives me great optimism, not only for the students like you, Summer, and all of your peers, but also the community who does feel deeply for what we're doing here. It was great. Well done, everybody.
The only part about that night that gave me pause and slight pains was how empty the auditorium was. Right? Because I just feel like people don't know that this is a thing. And it's a moment of celebration that we should make sure people know that.
It wasn't invite only.
Oh, well, we need to change that too.
Yeah, only the kids who got scholarships were invited.
I'd love to see community members there,
Yeah, so school board, but in budget committee and the students get, as Summer said, get scholarships, get invited. So it's not like
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Not
No,
a
it's not like we were trying to sell tickets. I'm just saying we could reframe what that is for the community moving forward, Anyway, okay. No other subcommittee reports, anything?
Nothing official from the facilities committee, but coming right off of our tour, just found it really useful. So thank you, Dan, for allowing time and energy to see, touch, and feel some of the projects on our deferred maintenance list that we'll be having to make some decisions of. There's a lot happening across our district.
I would second that. I mean, I'm not on that committee, but I've been on the board for almost 6 years and we've never done a tour of all the buildings and really dug deep and looked at what needs to be fixed or what we need to kind of invest in. So I know I've missed the last 2 meetings due to personal conflict. So thank you to whoever really kind of spearheaded this and put this together.
Just to be totally clear, roofs should not be that spongy. Walk on them.
I'm afraid of heights, and getting me on that roof was, that was a win in itself.
Okay. So let's now, Summer, the floor is yours.
Perfect. Sorry, I don't have my computer today, but so a lot is happening. Yesterday, the Sustainability Club went to Envirothon, which is a state competition to see, basically think of like a math competition, but it's environmental science. There's a forestry, there's wildlife, there's soils, aquatics, and then there's a current issue. So the competition has those main sections, and then there's the current issue where students make a presentation and present it. And we came first place with the presentation, so we brought home, I think,
Yeah.
Nice.
we missed the rest of the awards, so I don't know who won overall for the rest, but we did win something. That's the first time we've had this competition for the past 3 years now. I've been there every 3, and we were very excited. Senior trip is June 1st and 2nd. We're going to Acadia National Park in Maine. We'll be overnight. We're staying in a hotel. We're going to go hiking, walk along the beach, do the shops, that sort of thing. May 29th, there's a state meeting with student council. We're going up to Concord. We're going to hold elections for the state and executive board. And then in our own school, this week is freshman elections, sophomore elections, junior, senior elections. So I am being replaced end of the week, and we're going to have a whole new board of student council members uprising, which is really nice. Grad practice is June 4th at 9 p.m. 9 a.m. during the school day, so kind of early for kids. And then June 5th is graduation. And then during the day, we have class day. So the seniors will walk in. There's a speech. We get like awards. The whole school's there. And then we get bussed off to our elementary schools. We walk around the halls and then go back for graduation to prepare. Monday was the art show and ice cream. It was the same day as like a track meet. There was a softball game, I think, a tennis match. So a lot of kids were in the building, and all the proceeds from the ice cream that we made in school with Miss Belcher's class go to the food pantry, which was really nice. Submarine team is getting their new group certified and their old group advanced certified, which is really nice. And I think that's all I have.
Yeah,
Right.
Monday was a great day. So baseball, track and field, softball. It was all the senior events. They had Kona Ice. They had the.
It was kind of like a
Jack-
homecoming, but
It was like the community feel. There were so many people there. It was and the weather was beautiful. It was such a great day. Like we need more days like that.
Way better here than Hampton Beach.
Yeah. No one was arrested.
we usually have that event, and then we'll have an empty. We already had it a few weeks ago, but an empty bowls event during the school plays and whatnot. So it would be nice to have more of those. Key Club runs those.
Great. Thank you. Okay. And now move on to new business. 7.1 records retention policies. Rick, did you have?
Yeah, I
anything?
did. I'll just be relatively quick. So from a former right to know request, it has now been determined that the SAU was in possession of several copies of an unredacted Bakey report. 4 members on the board tonight all signed a sign-in log that was generated by the district. And we were asked to sign in order to get access to that report. I know personally I signed in more than 5 times. I don't know how many everybody else can say they signed in, but I believe everybody signed in at least once. Those records are no longer within the possession of the SAU. And as such, we are in violation of policy EHBR. And I will talk to the board only in a non-public about recommendations that I have to try to remedy that. And just, I apologize. EHBR is local records retention, and those logs would have fallen under, let me just see, give me 1 second.
I'm trying to open this.
It would have been permanent, because it could have fallen under 2 different categories: internal records, child abuse reports and allegations, and internal records, criminal investigation, which it was both. And those records and any records, whether physical, email, should be kept indefinitely. And I do want to say one other thing. Phyllis is in the room, and I'm not saying that Phyllis is the cause of this, and I want to make sure everybody understands that. Okay, so yeah.
Are we reviewing these to make changes, or will we be aware for the non-public? I'm just curious, what is the purpose of, what are we doing with these?
I just wanted you to make sure you had the policies.
Okay.
So you understood what I was saying,
Okay,
meaning, I do feel we're in violation of the policy because
Okay.
those records aren't here. They were verified.
And-
And I, again, because of what I'm going to say, it has to be said in non-public.
Okay.
So
And you're referring to the logs and the report, or just the logs?
the logs are really what I'm referring to. The report, Jeremiah, as a member of the board and a citizen of Kingston, New Hampshire, put an attorney on notice to send a formal preservation request.
Yep.
March 13th, 2025, I believe.
Okay.
So I don't know what the status of that preservation request is, and I don't know if you've ever gotten a response.
Yeah. I got an acknowledgement.
Okay.
Okay. You're good.
I'm all set now. Thank you.
Any other questions or discussion about this for now? Okay. Let's move on to first public comment. If you have one, please, we welcome you to come up to the podium. Hello, Pam.
Hello, Pam Brown, Kingston.
Just an update on open enrollment. Believe it or not, it's still being batted around in Concord. It may die, it may come up for a vote in the next 2 weeks. The good news is in the latest hearing, they're going to cap the number of students that can participate in the beginning if it passes. And the other good news is the school board has total control over defining capacity, full capacity. You can divide it in terms of program, grade level, students to teacher ratio. I would imagine even students to school counselor ratio. So it's really up to you. And if a student wants to come in and do a specific program here, you could say, well, we've capped it at this number and we're going to be full. So I'm sorry, but you can't be admitted. So it's completely up to you to be creative in how you define capacity. It's not limited to buildings or classroom space. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Good. Okay. Let's move on to item 9.1, the summer enrichment program update.
Okay. That. I sent you guys a whole bunch of information late last week on the program. Here, we have several programs that have been proposed, everything from Harry Potter camp to a writing camp for older kids, a handwriting and script and cursive writing camp for younger kids, theater camp, which is now down to a 1-week time frame for a longer day, and several others. I believe that the financials are in about the right spot for us to look forward. I think we've gotten the cost of the program down. I haven't got to look at this today, but I believe we're down to about $225 per program. We had to work kind of hard to try to figure out what the maximum number of kids and minimums were to get there. But if you go in the financials and tinker around with the numbers a little bit, you'll find that there is the potential for us to, as a district, to have to eat maybe $2,500, or the district may turn a small profit. And my goal really was to try to get it set up so that those two things were kind of equal possibilities. So as I cut a class here and added a class there, got one back and forth, it sort of went between about 2,500 one way or the other. As I was messing around with that, I do have Mr. Maxwell has agreed to work the program, help finish up the organizational piece and be there on a daily basis to provide administrative support. The plan right now is to hold the camps at the Memorial School because we have a nurse there. There would be one camp here in the at the high school, middle school, because the auditorium, the theater camp would be here. They wouldn't necessarily have a nurse on site, but of course they would have staff members that are CPR first aid certified and so forth. And we would have parent information and contacts and so forth if we had an issue like that. We have developed a registration form that I have to tweak with a few suggestions. If any of you have suggestions further on that registration form, mostly related to, do students have IEPs and would they impact their learning or their ability to access the camp educational components? I've set up an email blast in our SMORE system, which is very much like the newsletters. That's actually ready to go. It's completely done. Each of those links in there has a backup of a flyer that gives more information on each of the camps. The question that is sort of lingering is, I believe the will of the board, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm all for that, is that we do not offer refunds for people who decide to cancel after the registration period were to close on June 10th, which is roughly a month, 4 weeks out from the beginning of camp. If we had a situation where, and the way I laid it in here with a little fun was that, in Hogwarts camp was, somebody wanted to cancel out of Camp Hogwarts and we were sold out and we had some people who could fill the slot of that person. So let's say Heather decides that she can't send her kid to Hogwarts camp, but we can fill that slot with Katie's child or one of your kids. Are we able to then refund the money to the first person because we aren't losing anything in that scenario? And that's a question that I had that seemed compassionate. I don't know if it's smart, but that would just be the only lingering question. Other than that, I believe we're ready to go with the program for this year, and would seek your blessing to do that with the caveat of the discussion of the refunds if we're able to fill the slot. That would be the only way I would offer a refund in the plan as is.
traditional summer camps, even if you can't go and they can still fill the slot, they don't.
Yeah, I thought as a board, we sort of decided no
So,
refunds.
but I think the situation here is if there is a active wait list because the class is at capacity and we can not lose any money by pulling someone off the wait list to fill the spot that was vacated, is that a different circumstance?
Yeah, it's something we hadn't discussed the last time. It just occurred to me in the interim, so I just threw it out there.
Is that something that's that we're able to easily track?
All right. I just don't know how you would verify that.
I'd have to talk to Marie if Marie were sitting here. Normally you don't retain checks for a long period of time. If we start taking checks, let's say we were to push this out tomorrow, registration were to begin, say, and that's another thing is what's the perfect time to open registration up so that most people are home?
So
But if we collect those checks, the easiest way is for the central office to hold on to the checks until June 10th. And then Scott and I would say, sit down and figure out who's getting a refund. And we would just send the physical check back so we don't have to do the whole processing piece. That's not necessarily in line with policy because you normally want to deposit checks right away. You don't want them sitting around. So if you bless us with that, it would be kind of natural for the process to work that way. Now, Marie, if she were sitting here and she weren't away at a conference this week, might start yelling at me. I'm a year, but I think she was okay with that.
historically, what we've done for summer camp is we've just deposited the checks, and if people withdrew, then we just reissue them a check instead of, I don't think
Right.
held on to checks.
I was going to say that might eliminate the possibility of this because we can't hold on to the checks. They need to be deposited.
Yeah,
I was thinking
to
like if you
reissue.
had a robust wait list and you were keeping track of the wait list and someone says, I can't go, the problem is it becomes a slippery slope.
Are we going to have wait lists anyway?
I highly doubt
No
it.
way to know.
No, I don't mean practically. I mean, let's say we unilaterally said no refunds after X date. Would we maintain wait lists? Is that something that we normally do? Or would we only do it for the purpose of potentially refunding somebody? Like, if we're going to do it anyway, I don't see a problem really with it. But it seems like a huge headache just to try and refund somebody.
Based upon the fact that we're talking about potentially canceling for lack of engagement.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever recall a wait list.
Mm-mm.
Right. This might not actually be a problem we have.
Yeah. I think as I understand it, and I have not really been involved in this, that the one camp that has filled up pretty quickly in the past is the theater camp.
Mm.
And that may be the one where we might anticipate that. And by the way, I do have it set up so that the way it's written out is if you have a family with, say, 4 kids and you're trying to register them all, your timestamp and all the registrations is your first kid that you register, because it takes a little while to get through the whole process of the form. And you have to crank it for each of your kids so that they all get timestamped at the same time within a family.
Mm-hmm.
That just seemed fair.
Mhm.
I mean, refunds that's up. I'm Switzerland on this.
I just think there have been times this program, summer enrichment, has lost significant amount of money because we've had multiple kids cancel and we have refunded and again, I understand there might be certain circumstances where families might need a refund, but I think if we're going to pay the staff to be here, buy supplies, do the things, regular summer camps do not do refunds. I've had to pull my kids missed a week of camp and I don't get that money back.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like you're ready to make a motion.
Yeah, I make a motion not to refund on summer camp for the summer enrichment program.
Second.
Any discussion?
We have to move the whole program first and then
Oh, okay.
add that caveat. I'm just thinking that's probably more convenient.
Oh, I didn't know you needed
Let's,
I've never approved summer
You
enrichment.
could,
Okay.
yeah, I don't think we have, but I don't think we have ever approved it.
I'll amend the motion. I will make a motion to approve the summer enrichment program with the caveat that we will not be refunding after June 10th.
Yes. Registration closes. And if they request the refund before that date, so it works both ways.
Second.
this seems like a simpler approach to me.
Yep.
Since we're redoing a lot of things.
Yeah.
Baby steps.
Yep.
And my very short comment, the kudos to the team for bringing the cost of it down, which should actually help the no refund,
yeah.
right? We've limited the risk to the family, right? So do some planning, right? There's a little bit of risk associated. We've tried to lessen that by bringing the cost down.
Mhm.
I think that's a reasonable
Yeah.
approach. Yep.
227, you
Yep.
said?
I'm actually double checking to make sure that I didn't say the wrong number earlier because would be bad.
250s in your cash flow, except for theater, which is 350.
Okay, thank you. Yes, 250.
And that is the going rate for, that's what Kingston Rec is for
Yep.
resident.
Yep.
So I think it's like 220 for a Kingston resident. So very,
Yep.
very reasonable.
Yeah, most camps are way
Right.
more than that.
One camp is $450.
So that's it.
My only discussion on the topic is this is great for this year. As we're doing this summer, I really want to challenge the administration and the folks running the committee to figure out what it would take to expand the hours to bring this closer to a full day camp. I understand that's not realistic this summer, no problem, but that was significant feedback we got from the community that a half day program is good, but a full day program is great.
Yeah. Full day parent program would be better for working families.
That's right. So no decision, just let's keep our eyes peeled.
That's a good point.
Understand the complexities.
Yeah, a lot of it is the expense of the teachers. I think, Camp Lincoln is loaded with a bunch of teenagers making, I don't know, any idea what they pay there, Summer?
I work at the rec and I get paid $12 an hour.
Right. So these are professional teachers making $40 an hour plus. This includes all the other like FIT retirement even goes into that. So
Summer, do you want a job this summer?
I'll
Pay you $15 an hour.
Whoa.
well, we are one of the camps actually is built in the field day camp. If that runs, I will be looking for I think I'd be a perfect place for a mature older kid to work for just a week.
So these are the things we can consider.
Thomas,
Yeah.
Yeah.
he did the field day one.
Yep.
He made like,
I do it.
Make
CPR
$18
certified,
an
birthday
hour.
certified, lifeguards, all of them.
Reach out to Mr. Maxwell.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second, all in favor. Unanimous for those present. Great. Okay. Move on to 9.2, the SLC meeting.
Want to talk about that?
yes. So prior to the last meeting I was at, I had met Dr. Dawson, Marie, and I had met with the SLC to talk about the SRO and that position. We had come to the determination that really it was not on the district, it was on the MOU between the police department and the SLC. SLC, yes, I
Yes.
keep getting those ones confused. But we will be meeting, myself, Marie, will be meeting with Chief Marie and the school on the 28th at 8 a.m. to kind of talk more about it. And I'll have an update after that.
All right. Bob, year-end funds.
End of the year fund. So one of the nice things about the walk around, the walk around today was fantastic. I had not seen some of that stuff myself a long time. Dan, if you want to hop up, that would probably be helpful here. We're anticipating right now that we will have, the last time Marie ran the numbers, it was just under $3.5 million of unspent funds by the end of the year. And for right now, anything significant that we haven't encumbered money for in the district, we've kind of shut down. And basically we put everything on this list that is looking for, and it depends on how you define maintenance or repair or capital improvement. I'm not going to split that here tonight, but there were a series of projects there. The entire list that really Dan did the development work on, it wasn't me. And I should say Tina in his office as well. Tina, she's fantastic. Has $22,444,099 and 40 something cents on it. I don't think we can quite make that with the 3.4 we have to, go with. In my view, there's two options of how we could, the board, I should say, could look at this. One way is to say, okay, Dan, your budget for doing projects is, let's say $1 million. Or if you guys want to have a discussion about, and potentially your facilities and finance were to look at something like that and say, okay, here are the projects that we want to take on this summer. Things are changing a little bit as we go along. Dan just got a quote on the boilers at Memorial and the SLC SCA building, which was significantly lower than we thought it was going to be. It's about 700 and let's call it, I think it's 730,000 to do the boiler at Memorial. That was on the list that we were going to recommend at $1 million. So that sort of gives us money back. So it kind of goes each way as things go up and down. Dan also said today, and you can expand on this, Dan, that your quotes are really only good now for about 2 weeks or 10 days because of the fluctuation in building projects. The other two items that are on this list are right up at the top of the lists. The English language arts curriculum pieces. I had Christine run that list again today, or get the quote renewed in the last 24 hours. This would give us and she wrote this out for us, a multi-year purchase of K through 5 Amplify CKLA third edition consumable materials. So the consumables for ELA at the elementary level. The accompanying teacher and student digital licenses through 2031. And it's an investment which would include all the student workbooks, comprehensive digital access, and really it's the idea is to sort of prepay for all of these pieces ahead of time, which of course we get a significant discount on. That's represented invoice for that. And the total on that, the revised quote that she got today was $149,190.84 for that. I also asked Gordon to look at the exact price for the Chromebooks. And this particular one would be 200 Chromebooks to replace units that we have at Memorial School. I believe they are in the hands of the 4th and 5th graders, but it may extend beyond that. I'm not entirely sure. I should have asked Gordon that now I think of it. There's two options here. We can include this in the list of end of year funds, or we could, keep saying y'all could authorize us to use money out of the facilities revolving fund money, which is inclusive of rents on the auditorium, the rents on that SCA and SLC pay to us, and there may be some other things in that fund. That's traditionally been used for technology, I believe, over the years. I haven't been involved in those decisions. That fund is currently at $385,000, which would obviously easily cover the purchase. Gordon has expressed a real concern, that the prices he's seeing are fluctuating daily, and I would really recommend that we come to one, or y'all come to one decision or another here, so I can give Gordon the go tomorrow to order those and make sure that we lock in the price, because he says the prices are changing almost daily, and the delivery date he's looking at right now is in late August. They're going to come in right before the guaranteed delivery date, I believe he said, was August 28th. So getting a little tight on that.
So I'll make a motion to approve $82,170 to be spent for 200 Chromebooks out of the facilities use revolving fund, as it always has been.
Perfect.
Second.
Discussion. I think that's where the money should come from. I agree.
It's always come
Oh,
from.
it's always come from. We've used the rent to pay for technology.
That was what the former administration told the community when we started renting the building, that the rent was going to go to technology. That's where it's gone to, and I think it's a no-brainer.
Yep. Cool. Agreed. Any other commentary on this? Discussion. Okay. All in favor? Okay. Unanimous on that?
The rest of the list is really stuff that a lot of things that we showed everybody tonight during the building tour over the 2 hours. Everything from, $1,500 to put a hose outside the loading dock here to $100,000 or $750,000 to do a boiler. So, like I said, there's kind of two ways I think we can proceed or the board can proceed, is to sort of say, all right, you got this much amount of money and give us the discretion to spend it the way we want, bring it back to facilities and finance, or have a discussion tonight about where you want to be. It's really, it's up to you.
Pam, Pam, do I have permission to share portions of your email that you sent to facilities and finance?
This is going to bring up the two warrant articles. Those will come out of the ending balance as well.
Which ones?
Articles 6 and 7.
The warrant article.
Oh, the warrant articles. Yeah. Yep, correct.
Is that what it was?
Well, what I'm going to share, and thanks, Pam. Just a couple things.
Do we want to make a motion to
Discuss?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll make a motion to discuss, end of year funds.
Second.
Okay, so, oh, sorry, do we need to? Well,
Second.
all right, so,
Yes.
Pam's, email, and I won't read it verbatim, but it brought up, a few very good questions. And the Facilities and Finance Committee, Pam, specifically me, will be working with the group to carve out facility maintenance items and capital improvement items, and we'll get that hopefully by the next meeting, but we will take that on immediately, right? Understand the request. You did bring up that the facilities maintenance budget for fiscal year 27 was increased 58%, $686,000. I have since asked the administration to provide a detailed list of what went into that increase. So then that way I have an idea of what is on this list that was added into those numbers. I haven't gotten that information yet. I got a broader answer. And as soon as we have those answers personally for myself, I will then be able to take a look at the immediate needs that Dan spent hours reviewing with us tonight and hours on a list. And I thank you for that, Dan. But my goal is to return as much money back to both communities that drastically need it. And I'll stop with a comment on that. And the only other question I have is this CK Learning, Amplify ELA materials. The board approved that some time ago, and I'm just wondering why that money wasn't included in the budget.
Because it's a re-up.
You approve the program.
Okay.
I do not believe them that this would be money that's above and beyond what we have in the fiscal 26 budget to spend on those materials.
I thought we just recently approved it.
So we approved the curriculum, but but when you have curriculums, sometimes you have to get updated material. So these are the new, so for kids in elementary, they're using workbooks.
Yep.
It's hands-on, so it's not, so the material, so every
You're
kid.
gonna buy those every year.
Right.
Basically, every few years, you're
Get
gonna
that.
have to buy the workbooks.
What Marie explained at the last meeting was there is a annual budget for what we will need for each year. They're trying to purchase 5 years at once at a discount, and that's why it's costing more.
What's the benefit?
The budget.
Just out of curiosity.
The
And what's the cost difference?
So,
What's the savings? I haven't seen any of that, so I'm just maybe.
well,
maybe
It's a
it's
good
covered,
question.
I
We
don't
don't-
know.
so it's she outlined it in the thing. Hold on. In the,
I missed that.
and when I say the thing, everyone obviously knows.
I don't see it in the board packet, like.
No, in the
In the email, there was a quote.
email, in this thing. Right?
No,
You go-
what do you, I apologize.
That's an attachment that we got
It was
from
before the,
Bob. It's part of the packet, maybe?
yeah, it was one of the addendums in the last 24 hours or so.
Link to
'cause we
quote.
Got the quote yesterday.
So
It's not all the clarity that I would want, but we might be getting closer.
there's discount of $116,000, $754 to buy it for 5 years versus buying it every year.
Okay, so
will save
The discount is
budget
half,
line in.
Yeah, total
Future-
discount, 161,000.
well, it's like a 40%.
because the whole purchase is 150.
Yep.
Yeah, it's 45% or so, 40, whatever.
Right.
Wow. Okay.
Because of math, somebody,
Can you afford?
can you do that math for me?
Other way.
I don't know.
It's like
We have a math teacher in the
The
house.
shared drive too.
I'll send
In
it.
tonight's share drive?
Yep.
What?
Cost
What
is
is that?
Nope. A couple days ago.
$149,190.84.
Oh, I got it.
And the savings, if we
Here's one.
spend the 149 is 116.
754.
Mhm.
Were you saying 116 or 160?
116,
116.
I thought you said 160. I'm
No,
like,
I think it works out to,
$116,754.
still huge.
Savings over
Yeah.
5 years.
I think it works out to like a 44% discount or something.
Yeah. And some of that may be the standard sales discount, but I think a lot of it is the prepaid.
In the head.
Wow.
Feature.
That was a guess. I'm gonna be honest.
It's 43.7.
Damn it.
Thank you. Thank you for your precision. Okay.
So that would mean theoretically that the line item that is in the, but that would have been in the budgets for the next 5 years would not be there
Yes.
for these materials.
Pam, take note of that.
I mean, as someone
We definitely did.
who was on the ISA committee, who,
Is that, am I right when I say that?
yeah,
It should, if you're paying
Alright.
5 years in advance.
You're paying 5.
that we aligned our curriculum and got kids what they need to be successful. And we're seeing huge successes since we've implemented CKLA. I see no reason not to purchase these items.
So this is $116,000 savings that we will realize over the next 5 years.
All right, so I'll make a motion to approve.
Sorry.
Yeah.
What do you need?
What, no, go back down to the total.
Right here.
CKLA.
$149,109.84 for CKLA for 5 years to be taken from the facilities use revolving fund.
I have a quick follow-up question. If we're, second.
Thank you.
There we go.
May I now discuss? Maybe Heather, you might remember this. What's the difference between the services that are required from the vendor versus like the actual products? Why I'm asking is, I like terms and conditions in quotes. The licenses go 6 years, which is great for a 5-year buyout, but the services only go 18 months. I just don't know what that entails.
I would have to ask Christine, but I believe that could be the training and the coaching.
So not a big deal, basically.
Yes, services, and I'm reading it very quickly too, the right under services, training and PD.
Yeah.
It mentions training and professional development sessions.
So that's just to
Right underneath
train the
services.
trainers, train the staff.
Mhm.
Yep.
That's not something.
And we do have a staff position that's directly related to both the CKLA in next year's budget.
Yep.
Just one. And what used to be 2, now it's going to be 1. For training for ELA and math for the elementary level teachers to work with them directly just on that.
So the motion was to take that out of facilities use revolving fund. And without Marie here, do we know?
$386,000 as of March 31st. That would leave us with $154,000 if both items.
If both items,
If both
Okay.
Chromebooks
And
too.
we already approved
yep,
Chromebooks.
the Chromebooks and then this
And
one.
that money gets
Yep.
replenished every month.
Got it.
I mean, it's
Okay.
not strictly technology, but I think it's the responsible thing to do.
Yeah.
Rather than take it
Yep.
from your own funds.
You're right.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, it is. I mean, how broadly do we want to define technology? It is an advanced learning system that has
And they're
created,
electronic.
there are electronics
Yep.
involved in it.
Yep.
And to note, it's also important to note that there has been how long has it been in 3 years? CKLA? Marked improvement in test
Yeah.
scores, for
Incredible.
those kids.
Our kids are in first grade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to say this publicly, but I'm going to.
I was like, you
But
gotta-
then here we are. This actually, I could make an argument for non-public for this, but Eli will forgive me. I wish my son Eli had CKLA. I mean, he got hit with COVID too during those years, but my son Benjamin has certainly seen the benefits of this rigor in the program. So this is a good thing to be investing in.
We've already voted to approve this program based on the historical success of the pilot, increasing state funds. We have this opportunity to prepay the next 5 years of and do it at a meaningful discount to save future budget dollars. And the proposal on the table is to use effectively rental funds to preserve additional capital to return back to the taxpayer.
That's right.
I'm ready to vote.
Anybody else? No, any more discussion?
No.
All in favor? Done.
Sweet.
Unanimous.
So, Micah, I'd like to make a couple of broad comments about all of these. So the item we're working on 9.3 says end of year funds.
Yep.
And so I want to start by saying thank you to Dan, because what you did for us earlier was very helpful. When I first became a board member and I got on the finance and facilities subcommittee, you were kind enough to walk me around the district in the evening time one day and show me a bunch of these things. And it really helped inform my decision-making process. And so I want to thank you for the time that you spent with all of us tonight. Even Heather said, I've been on the board for 6 years and I've never seen some of this stuff. So I don't want my next comments to be misconstrued as anything tied to my gratitude for the time that you spent with us tonight, Dan. Okay. You showed some very real things to us. Now that set aside, this list feels confusing to me. It feels like a departure from our process that we've done as a board that has produced a district that has facilities that look like this, that look great. It's a team that's working very hard to maintain them and does a fantastic job doing it. And we have tried to be as fiscally responsible as possible. And there are times where we probably, the board, previous boards, maybe haven't spent a couple of dollars that maybe would have been helpful. However, I feel like our finance and facilities committee has done a better and better job utilizing a matrix that every single month, multiple times a month, most of the time, the board gets to sit where that subcommittee sits with Mr. Doyle and goes over the needed items. This feels like sort of like an end of year slush fund, right? We're just going to talk about all these projects that we need, and then we're going to throw large chunks of change at everything. And what I note here is that we worked so hard over the past 3+ years to build, and we called it the capital improvement plan. We can play with the words about how, what's maintenance, what's capital improvement. However, there is a plan in place, and every single week, 2 weeks, we sit down and we rank things. Is this an A? Is this a B? Is this a C? Where does this go on the chart? What needs to move to the top? And Dan and his team say, okay, this is what's priority. We really have to do this. So this feels like a very much like a slush fund end of year. We're just going to try to get everything that we can. And I feel like it's a departure from our process, and I'm not sure that it meets our fiscal stewardship requirement that we have as board members here. That's just my personal take. And to, I guess the exclamation at the end of the sentence here is the 2 items that we just approved, right? So we're looking at trucks and tractors, and then we're looking at curriculum and Chromebooks, right? On the same list, right? And so it's a all inclusive, right? Rather than sort of the methodical approach that we've utilized thus far. So I'm slightly cautioned by the approach.
Mm-hmm.
I would agree. I think I mean, again, I'm not on the facilities and finance, but I feel like, but from your updates, watching the videos, you've done a great job of sort of A, B, C, and I would like to kind of keep that. And I would like to sit with this a little bit more to kind of look at what are those things that are already on our capital improvement plan. And if we are going to use end of year funds, what are the most vital things that we need to fix to keep our schools going before the next school year?
Yep.
After we take out the when you reported the 3.5 almost 3.5 million in unspent funds, was the 149 for CKLA and the Chromebooks taken out of that already in your head? Did you know they were a couple line items? Does the rephrase?
Maria's talked about that.
Yeah,
and I don't recall whether or not.
I feel like she said, I don't recall either, but I kind of feel like she said that it was X number that she reported last time, and even that assumes that we were going to pay for these 2 things already. But
I have the same, if I had to, put $50 down on which way, I would say she has planned for these already. And not some, I think the Chromebook, she had a lower number because that number's been fluctuating on us.
But she also, both of these things tonight were approved to come out of a different fund.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
those shouldn't even be.
So I think it's safe to say that so it doesn't affect the thing.
And I'm also wondering if we could get this list by school. I also felt very discombobulated, like when we were going through it, trying to figure out like, okay, like just to kind of prioritize, like what are the things for each school?
I had that.
That would be great.
Yeah, I can send it to you. I broke it down by school, but I carved out just what was requested by to be expensed this year, right?
Okay.
So I can go back and just sort of, I can send it to everybody.
Thank you, Rick.
Yeah, I have a feeling Dan's going to say the same thing I'm thinking, which is the list is presented with sort of a priority order list. So that's why it's a little out of order. School wise, it was, and it's not necessarily indicated there very well, but it was what Dan and mostly Dan had, I want to that's to give him credit, was his feeling over the most high priority items, top to bottom.
And but some of these
That
we've
can't,
already
that can't
approved.
be.
The most high priority items were already voted on and approved here.
Those are at the top because they were already done.
Yeah.
I just moved them up because they're kind of
Been approved.
That biggie, yeah.
Okay.
So this 3 point, almost 3.5 is with that already out,
No,
or that's subtracted from that?
no, it's not. Those are not taken out.
3.47 current projected balance. We've already committed.
Right, it's that bottom.
We've
number.
already committed 387, leaving 3.082 non-committed funds.
Okay.
And for your earlier question, that doesn't include the Chromebooks and
It does not,
Mm-mm.
but it doesn't matter because they're
Chromebooks are
coming,
coming out of
they're coming out.
exactly. But I'm saying like it wasn't our.
Okay.
So at this moment, 3.08 million uncommitted.
Accurate.
Yeah. Yeah. And Bob mentioned this earlier.
Committed to go back to taxpayers.
Well, that's what I
Yeah.
mean, not committed to projects.
Bob mentioned this earlier as one of the options, and which I think we should stay with the process that we have, or else this appears like it's a year-end spending splurge, right? And that is the process we have, is that Finance and Facility Subcommittee first vets these things. That subcommittee spends the most amount of time reviewing, listening to Dan talk about quotes, listening to the presentations by Siemens and other contractors, right? Rather than this all coming to the broader board just for votes of like, oh, I think I should vote this way, or I don't really understand the details, but I'm forced to vote now, right? One of the options that he brought up was that this conversation continues to boil up through, percolate up through the Finance and Facility Subcommittee to the broader board. That's my thought.
What's the deadline on all this? In the sense of this money that the year-end fund.
I mean,
balance.
pick your project and I'll.
No, I mean,
Approximate deadline.
year-end fund balance. This literally goes back to the taxpayers at the fiscal year end, right? Once that
Yeah, we have to make a decision before July 1. What's
6:30.
So we have till 6:30.
Yeah.
We should probably get some
And
clarification.
I will say,
Actually, pardon me.
Yep.
I believe last year, the school care money, we actually expended way past that date. I'm not sure if there was right? That 660,000 we had to send to school care, what came out of end of year money, but we decided that way after July 1, right?
Yeah.
That's my memory, right? It was like September.
But I think
Yeah.
yeah, but I think what you just said is what we should go with. We should wait for Marie to get back and we don't have to make any decision.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to make any decisions.
Because I will
Try to get a
say
handle on it.
some of the things that are on Dan's list are easy things that have impact and safety applications, such as the loading dock that has been on the list since I started on the board. It's $5,000. It's a safety issue. It needs to be addressed, right? So there may be some things that are safety issues that we may need to address, but I'd be remiss not to say this. We review expenditures as a board. And a month ago, I asked questions about an expenditure. The expenditure was for a 55-inch television. You've all probably have all bought one of those recently, right? $200, $280, maybe 65 inches, 280. We spent $899 as a district on a 55-inch television. Okay. So when those things happen, I will continue to scrutinize every dollar we spend because that is ridiculous. And you can say light commercial TV lasts longer. I got a TV that I bought in 2009 that's still working. Okay. So, it has nothing to do with Dan. Dan has done and his team has done extraordinarily well given the financial constraints that they have. But these buildings are in need of repair.
Mhm.
And some things are going to have to get done.
I agree with safety, the things that were shown today.
Yep.
or memorial concern for staff, teachers, children to get hurt. Want to make sure that we
Bless you.
take care of that.
I think it's also relevant looking at what the end of year funds are. There's money under the line item of maintenance repair that was not spent, I think, in hopes of maybe we can use other year of ends funds to do bigger projects that Dan has on his list, right? So we also want to think about some of this money is in fact slated for maintenance and repair.
That's a good point.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think that the feeling at our end was that even though some of these are, we do have budget funds for, like, we talked about a $1,500 hose bib for hot water on the, that's a very simple thing, $2,500 to replace the floor of the elevator. Our feeling was, at least mine, I don't want to speak for Dan, was that once we sort of put this list on the table, it felt kind of uncomfortable for us to create a PO and start spending money out of what on May 20th for those sorts of things. So this seemed right to come to you. What I'm hearing is, I think, and I want to make sure I'm clear so we can prep and put this information out. So hopefully we get some feedback on it prior to the next meeting, facilities, finance, some thoughts from everybody, is to take a stronger look at the capital improvement plan and potentially focus on some of the more significant items there. I think part of this, and having observed the board for the last year plus, is we're conflating the capital improvement plan with some items that could be referred to as maintenance and or repair. I'm not sure where you put a $1,500 hose thing on the outside of the high school building. Is that maintenance? Is that repair? Is that, a capital improvement? I don't know what that is. So I wonder if it would be to the long-term benefit of the district if that plan was revisited in the sense of recategorizing some of those things. And I'll give credit to James because you're the one that brought it up. And that was a light bulb moment for me.
I would be, thank you. I would
because
be happy to define, right? Because this is not just James's opinion. This is GAAP accounting practices, right? To define as a district in line with GAAP, here's capital improvement definition, here's examples, here's maintenance, here's examples. And then in my view, we should take this list and the existing capital improvement plan, combine them together. So there's one, not both, but separate them by those two different categories. That would be my suggestion.
Oh, that's good.
Mhm.
And I will share a proposed definition of those two things with the chair for distribution and review. Because if we don't get that definition right from the beginning,
Mhm.
we'll just be in
Yeah.
circles.
Yep.
So that's what my original list was. I had it broken down per school, like you suggested. I broke it down, what is currently on capital improvement, what should be on capital improvement, and what should not be on capital improvement. And I did that for you guys. And then you said, okay, now break it down priority. So we broke it down for priority. Okay, you have both lists now. So I don't know what more you want from me as far as lists go.
We don't want anything more from you, Dan. We need to do better ourselves. We're not asking you to do anything else. Yeah,
Yeah,
we're
because-
going to break this list up.
that our
You're doing great.
meetings are like 30 weeks. I've got hours of stuff I can talk about that we need to talk about as a facility committee
Yeah.
meeting. And we can't do it in 20 minutes that I have every 2 weeks with you gentlemen.
Well, I apologize. I did not realize there was another version that had it.
Yeah, and it's on our Google document that you guys have seen. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
I've spent tremendous amount of hours on this and I'm glad to do it. This is my job. I get it, but I sometimes feel like we're beating this to death.
Well, you don't want to bang your head against the wall either, and we don't want that.
Well, I mean,
Fix the wall.
here's my thought, you pay me to do a job. I hope I'm doing a good job. You pay me to identify a problem and give you a solution. That's what I'm doing. At this point,
Yeah.
it's on you guys. What projects are we going to do? What projects are we going to spend money on? Where's the liability at?
Mhm.
When I have a school that has no heat, I don't want the liability because I brought it to the public.
Yep.
That's on you guys now at this point. And I'm sorry for saying that, but that's the truth.
You're right,
So
100%. But I do like the idea of what's a maintenance versus, because when I think of capital improvement, I think of big projects.
it's beautifying is what it is. There's probably 5 items on this list that I consider
Well, in the
capital.
nonprofit world.
New playground
Improvement.
equipment. Do you need it to run a school? No, you don't. That's a capital improvement, in my opinion. The things I'm asking for are things that we need to keep kids safe and warm in the winter.
I was
those aren't
excited to see the
capital
dugouts on there.
What's that?
I was excited to see the dugouts on there.
Well, hey, that's the safety thing. If you go out and look at those dugouts, they're rotting. We had one that blew over last year. I would say if we had an inspector come out here, he would condemn those dugouts. And I'm serious. They're rotting and falling apart. They were put up by mom and dads that volunteered on a Saturday to put them up. They didn't even get a permit for them. You know, I'm honest with you. I would not even put my kids in those dugouts. That's how dangerous they are. If it was me right now, I would tear them down and those kids would be out there in the sunshine during a softball game. It's that bad. Go look at them.
Oh, no, I've been looking at them for a long time. I can agree.
So, I mean, that's a huge safety thing, and it's been on the radar for over a year. How long are we going to beat this to death? When you say and it's about the name of safety, how long are you going to beat this until they blow over onto a kid and kill him?
So one of the questions that I think is relevant too is like if we have, you mentioned, Kathleen, that the line item for maintenance is not completely expended. Where were you looking at that?
Yeah, it's, I have it up somewhere. Well, I have that one specifically written down. It's, $35,000.
Okay, so that
Not a lot.
that clarifies things, though. I mean, you know, because it would be different if there was $1.2 million or something in a maintenance line item that we budgeted for, just hadn't used, then it's time to go shopping, right? Because we did estimate that we would need to do this dollar amount of maintenance projects. Then it's about just pulling the trigger on what you want to do, right? But the fact that we estimated a certain amount of maintenance, built in a certain amount of maintenance, and basically have hit that, this is where it becomes difficult to prioritize sometimes, because at that point we've said, this is what we think we're going to use. This is pretty much what we did use. Now we have to, the rest of this money is what we plan to return to taxpayers every year. Now we have to ask ourselves, how much do we want to dip into that in order to maintain safety, compliance, all those things, right? And so that's where it gets a little murky, given the fact that we've already, for me anyway, given the fact, I mean, safety and compliance aren't murky, but the fact that we've already expended most of our predetermined maintenance line item in the budget is a thing that's relevant.
Right after the question of how much of this was factored into the 58% increase. I think we need an answer to that.
Right.
Yes, on all those things. And I think that there's a meaningful quantity of fairly small dollar projects that we can and should let Dan and his team move forward with. What I'm actually more concerned about is, you know, we also have some meaningful large dollar projects. I'm going to use replace the siding on this building here, right? We know that this building is a key part of the district's future. And that's a big number, 1.5 million. It's probably going to be more with an actual quote coming in there. If we don't do that in the near term, not only does that siding replacement job not go away, but your likelihood of additional damages increases. And when we go into, you know, warrant articles, we're now adding 1 to 3 to 5 years from yes to execution, where those damages could get, I mean, you saw me stick my knife through the siding on the roof today. Sorry, Dan, but it wasn't hard to do that. And that means water's going into the walls. And that becomes a huge thing. So that's, I think, the real work of, not today, but in the facilities committee, you know, first cost versus forever cost. And that's the challenge for me.
Essentially returning money to the taxpayer so we can ask them for more later.
Well, that's it. So, and, you know,
Right.
And it's really tough. We have a lot of priorities as a town, as a community, a district, but like ultimately what I feel like we're being asked to decide is, if I give you $1 back today, I'm probably going to have to ask you for 2.25 in a 1.5 to 3 year time frame. And that might be the right thing to do, but that's what I'm struggling with.
It's fair.
Okay. Does anybody have anything else on this topic?
Mm-mm.
We will, James, you'll move forward with some
My,
clarification of definitions.
yeah, my specific action item, narrow, is to propose a district definition of capital improvement versus maintenance to be integrated into our existing capital improvement plan and be used for all of our budgeting processes moving forward.
Okay. And then we will take this existing list, integrate it with the capital improvement list based on those terms and definitions.
Okay.
And see where we're at.
And my plan would be to basically, like I did with summer enrichment, where I try to give you every piece of information I can. I'm just going to keep throwing information at you. I'll do all the sorts for you. We'll prioritize it both ways with Dan, sort it by school. So it may seem like a lot, but I want to give you guys the ability outside of a meeting to come to this meeting as prepared as you can, or to facilities finance to make the kind of decisions along the way. So
And then we'll get that.
I keep sending you stuff. It's basically to give you all the information you can. And
That's great. One slightly nitpicky thing, and if this is just me.
Yeah.
I would love to have everything in Excel, not split between Excel and PDFs. Like my capital improvement plan is a PDF version, and I would love that. Is that just me? Is that
No,
Ours is in
Yeah,
Excel.
because you're gonna have Excel with 2 tabs, there.
right?
And ideally, like facilities, capital improvement.
That's right. And then sum total,
Yeah.
a third, and then we can just move stuff back.
Yeah, I can set it up.
I mean, you could also put it,
We can do that. It's no work, no additional
Yeah.
work.
you could
Yeah,
also
now you-
tag, you could put it in one Excel list and then tag each thing in a column with
Mhm.
CI
Yeah.
or
To sort.
maintenance and then sort by.
And sort by school,
Yeah,
sort
the
by
data
dollar,
part.
sort by
Yep.
property. It's just, it'll eliminate.
Yeah, that's what we should do.
Is it specifically Excel or in a spreadsheet form? And there's 2 reasons that's that question. We tend to do everything in Google Sheets. And schools.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. I just want to make sure.
Google, weird. Ugh. But it's a spreadsheet.
Sortable spreadsheet.
10 years ago, that was me. And then I've been converted because the ease of sharing is the key.
Yeah.
Because they give it to us for nothing.
No,
And
sorry.
because
I
that-
misspoke.
Well, but it
Yeah,
costs
we'll
money.
tell you all about Microsoft permissions later on.
Free.
But what I meant to say was a spreadsheet.
I just want to make sure I understand exactly how you want it.
I'm not adding a new software line item to the budget. Just-
We could take it out of the.
I
facility.
have it.
All right. Getting late.
Okay,
What's next?
let's move on. We're gonna go through school board goals. We're still ironing out. And I think we're gonna meet with Adam on these, get his input. Between now and that time, continue to send any feedback that you might have on these or notes to Bob, who will give them to me and I can figure that out.
Yep.
Okay, let's move to second public comment.
Wrap it up.
All good? All right. Oh, Pam. I see you leaning forward.
Yep.
Come. Yes.
Nice.
So the 3.082 million after these purchases, is that net of the 2 warrant articles that were passed? The additions to the capital reserve and special ed funds, those are to come out of the ending balance as
Yeah,
well.
that would be-
Isn't that
Yeah,
correct?
that's not, I don't think that was, from what I saw from Marie's calculation, that wasn't accounted for. So that would be
That'll
reduced.
come later on.
Yeah, it would be reduced from the 3.08.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, I'll wait for Marie, but I believe that's correct.
Yeah, Maria, I don't believe is back till Monday, but we'll clarify that early next week or sooner. She may be watching, who knows?
There was something about capital improvement in here.
Okay. Next, Sanborn Regional School Board meeting will be held on Wednesday, June 3rd, 2026 at 6 PM in the library at Sanborn Regional High School. And also of note, the class of 2026 will graduate on Friday, June 5th, 2026 at 6 PM in the gymnasium at Sanborn Regional High School. Would someone like us now, someone please call us now into non-public session?
Make a motion to move us into non-public RSA 91-A, semicolon 3, Roman numeral 2, CA.
Please read the thing after.
Oh, matters which if discussed in public would likely affect adversely the reputation of any person other than a member of this board. A, the dismissal, promotion, or compensation of any public employee or the disciplinary of such employee or the investigation of any charges against him or her.
Thank you. We are now adjourned. Oh, you have to do that.
second.
Oh, yes.
Oh.
Oh, we have to roll
Roll
call.
call and
Got ahead of myself.
James, yes.
Jeremiah,
Yes.
Kathleen,
Yes.
Rick,
yes.
myself, yes. Heather,
Yes.
Lovely.
thank you, everyone.